Okay, so today I am joined by Teresa, who is the owner of Piano Central Studios in Greenville, South Carolina. We've been working with Teresa and her music school for, I believe, about 3 months now, if I have the timing correct. And she was gracious enough to share a little bit about her experience working with us over the past quarter on her marketing and lead generation. Thank you so much, Teresa, for doing that. And we figured the best way to kick it off was for you to just give a brief explanation of your business and who you serve at PCS.
Sure. Well, I'm one of those really lucky people who wakes up every day and gets to do what I love. And I've actually really grown to love the whole running and operating and owning of a music school. We have currently about 700 students enrolled in our program, and it takes all my time. But the wonderful thing is that we are serving families with children from newborn all the way up to adults retired in their 80s and still taking music lessons. So I really get to see what it means to live out our mission of nourishing hearts and minds with music making for life every day. And get to do that through the amazing teachers that are on my team and the folks that work with me here in the office. And it's just been a great joy. I've been doing it for about 30 years now, actually.
I was just gonna say you're at your 30 year now, which is a very staying in business that long is not easy. So much kudos to you for making that happen through all these years.
You.
So we started working together in, I believe it was mid-March. And I'd love to just kick it off with like when you were coming to us, what were some of your challenges and frustrations in marketing and lead generation, however you want to describe it, that prompted you to reach out to us originally?
Sure. I just felt like I was spending a lot of money and not getting a lot of results and not really understanding why I wasn't getting those results. And so I had heard from a friend that you guys were pretty awesome to work with and that your approach was a little different even than what I'd been accustomed to. Um, I have a plan with you where we're meeting weekly, of course, and that has just been a huge game changer just to have those weekly touch points versus running all the way through to the end of the month and then getting this sort of vague report about how many impressions and clicks. And I wasn't able to connect that very well with what I was seeing. In fact, there was often a discrepancy between what I was seeing on my end and the numbers that I was getting from the analytics side. So I had worked with a number of marketing companies over the last probably 20 years and just was really still hoping that the unicorn I was searching for was out there. And I maybe you may not appreciate being called a unicorn, but your company
Hey, I will accept it. I will accept it graciously.
company is I have found has just been really unique in that regard. And a lot of the frustrations I was having in terms of not getting enough leads or not getting quality leads, not understanding why I was seeing certain ups and downs or under not understanding always why things leads weren't converting. I've had those frustrations solved. I think this is probably one of the first times that my husband has heard me saying, I'm so happy with my marketing company. And I do want to be quick to add that that's no reflection on the wonderful people that I had worked with before. I think it's just the difference in the approach.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I don't think I've ever told you this, but I'll briefly say it now. We recently did these new shirts, which yours is on the way,
Thank you.
and we put at the top "Lead with Vision" as part of our thing. That actually came from a conversation we had with you,
Oh,
where you were talking about you were saying like, "I like that you guys show up and you're thinking ahead," and you said some nice things. And Hannah and I, Hannah from our team were talking after, and we were like, we should put that as one of our slogans, as one of our differentiators. But that actually came from a conversation where we designed these right after a call with you. So I want to say thank you for saying that because while it's something we've done and it's a big part of what we do, is like being on top of things and communicating and all that, we never put it into words quite the right way. So thank you for that.
Nerd, and I'm glad you brought that up because that really has been the biggest thing that I've been so pleased with you all is that I don't just get sort of some, okay, what ad do you want to run? And okay, here's the report of how it did at the end of the month. But there's actually strategy and there's ideas and brainstorming. And, I think for the first time, I feel like the marketing is not all on my shoulders.
Hmm.
And I have a company that is doing more than just the technical part of, running the ads and setting them up. I've got a company who's really truly a partner with me and a partner job who is really shouldering a lot of the work. And honestly, if I could say some of this, what was very stressful to me about the marketing is feeling like all the ideas and the strategy and the decisions about what we were going to run and what we were going to say and how it was going to look and was all on me. Been a very wonderful and different experience with you all.
Well, thank you. Thank you. If you could describe what were some of the tactical things that we put in place and that we incorporated for PCS on the marketing side.
Sure. I think just first of all, taking a fresh look at our budget and where we were spending money.
Mhm.
For example, for a long time, I put the most of my budget towards Google, with the idea that, well, people are searching for music school
Right.
things. And actually, what we found is because of some shifts, I think, in how people are looking for things, how companies are being found, we've actually found that Facebook was a much better strategy for us. That can change tomorrow,
Yep.
but I'm confident that y'all will be on top of that, and we'll pivot as we needed to. So I think just sort of getting a good idea about the budget and where to spend our money. But secondly, I've really appreciated that a big part has been like talking about the campaigns that we're going to run, and then having sort of that strategy of keeping things very fresh
Mm.
and not just in changing out ads, but taking these ad themes and going, okay, well, for example, Father's Day, maybe we do something that is advertising kinder music or lessons, but there's sort of an angle for father. So it
Mm.
gets, just a new look, a fresh way of putting our company out there instead of always just saying, hey, enroll for music lessons.
Yeah.
So I think that, new approach and new strategy has been really key. And then I think just that whole system of sitting down and having a plan. And like just the other day when we met, we came up with our plan for all of July, and that feels really good because not only is that decision made, but now I can start coordinating other areas of my marketing. For example, blog posts that I want to write, I can connect,
Mm.
or the monthly marketing email that we send out. That's all going to tie in, and suddenly I have a very strategic and cohesive marketing plan.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great way of describing it. You latched onto this quickly. I remember one of our first calls, I'm like, you're gonna learn that we're gonna say, When is a good time to market music classes? Always. So we're always gonna find the reason of why you should do it right now. And it could be 12 months out of the year, 365. We're gonna tell you why now is the best time to do it. And you latched onto that idea really quickly, which has been fun. Because even during times like the end of spring, beginning of summer, when it feels slow or it's hard to get attention. We're like, what can we say that's going to make people want to sign up now? And it's been fun working on that with you.
Yes.
What were some of the results or improvements in numbers and in enrollments that you saw in the past couple of months after working with us?
Well, when you go into a marketing arrangement, when you work with a marketing company, I've always kind of just mentally prepared myself that there's probably not going to be a lot of short-term immediate results, that it's really more the long game. And that's true, but I can actually say that I've been pleasantly pleased and very almost shocked, really in a good way, that we've gotten the results that we've gotten. I was just comparing some numbers the other day, and just for the last couple of months in particular, we're getting in double the number of leads that
Wow.
we had gotten this same time the year before. And obviously, there's a corresponding increase in enrollments when you get more leads in like that. And I appreciate too, your approach has been, first of all, we're not pulling a number out of thin air. We're saying, how many enrollments do we need to get? And then how many leads does that mean we need to have? And if I can get those leads for a budget of this, this is what you would need to spend. And so, we've over the last couple of months even made some decisions about maybe spending a little more on ads or spending a little less on ads just based on what we need in terms of leads and enrollments at that time or what trends we've been seeing in leads. So, again, I used to feel like it was just so mysterious and sort of just like cross your fingers, spend a bunch of money, throw some ads out there and hope you're going to get leads.
Yeah.
And now I feel like it's not, it's not a cross your fingers, close your eyes and hope. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, we can do this. And
Yeah.
that's, again, a really big difference I've had in my experience with NIPS Media.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, thank you. Thank you. And working with clients that have such great numbers on the back end makes it very easy for us. Because I know that you're the kind of personality that really thrives on numbers, and that's one of the ways we communicate similarly in that way. And it's been great where like we're looking at the leads, you're looking at the lead to enrollment, and when we put the two and two together, you can really create magic and forecast what's going to be happening. So that's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. You've said so many nice things already, so I'm not expecting anything much more. But if somebody was watching this, or you were talking to somebody and they were, hesitating, they were considering it. You know how it goes when you're going from one company to another, or even harder is going from no company, doing it yourself or internally, to hiring a company. Is there anything that you would say to someone who's considering it, but maybe they're on edge with making that big decision?
Sure. Well, you're never going to grow if you don't do things differently. So if you want different results, you've got to make some bigger, different decisions. And so, for the person that's saying, look, been doing this on my own, I can kind of handle it, or maybe I haven't really been doing any marketing at all. I would first say, it's important to know what your goals are. How much more revenue do you want? How much more do you want to grow? And then, even if you haven't been a super detailed numbers person, there are some basic numbers that you can pull to figure out, well, if I increase my revenue by this much, or I grow my student count by this much, it'll result in this much more money. And not just in the short term in my pocket for this month, but even the lifetime value of that customer. And
Mm,
so I think then putting some of those numbers into perspective helps you be more comfortable with what you are investing. And that's really what I feel like it is it's investment in your company. And you should expect to get a good return on investment. And with the right marketing company, and in my case, that's been you all, Nips Media, with the right company, you are going to get that return on investment. So, and if you've gone from company to company like I have over the last many years, um, I would just say I I really couldn't be more pleased. I've just been so happy with how you all work and the numbers, the thoughtfulness, your expertise that you bring to the table, the fact that you're up on not just marketing trends, but kind of what's happening in the digital world, and you're able to help guide me and make decisions too. So I was talking with a friend of mine a week or so ago, and she's been doing all the marketing herself. And my hat's off to her. She has figured out Google ads, she's figured out Facebook ads. But she said to me last week, Teresa, I'm just tired of doing this all myself. And I know I'm not managing as effectively or spending as effectively as I could because this isn't my area of expertise. My area of expertise is running a music school.
right.
And I just told her, I told her a week ago, I said, you have got to call Nips Media
Thank you.
because you'll just be so happy. So I really, I know we're kind of early on in our current relationship, but you probably remember that you and I worked together about 7 years ago on some different projects, and I was impressed with you then.
Oh, thank you.
And so I'm just kind of glad to, in a certain sense, to be kind of coming back home. And it's been really great to me to see how your company has flourished. And, now I get to be a part of that as a customer.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. Thank you, Teresa, so much for doing this. Hopefully, we'll be working together many, many years. I think we will. And thanks for taking the time to have this interview with us.
Pleasure, David. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.